After Better Call Saul's triumphant conclusion, and with it probably the end to the Breaking Bad universe, I thought it would be the perfect time to explore the day both shows were born. Now, born might mean a turning point in the show, elements of the show like the characters or plot finally solidified.
It's all good, man.
Or maybe it's the first episode to perfectly encapsulate everything that made the show great. I recently explored the day Breaking Bad was born. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure you check it out after this video. But now it's Better Call Saul's turn. So with that, I give you the day Better Call Saul was born. But first, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep is making premium mattresses customized to fit your needs, and it's all shipped right to your front door. Helix knows that everyone has a different preference about the kind of mattress they want, and that's why they have a sleep quiz, so that way you can find the perfect mattress that caters to your needs. For example, I'm a side sleeper with a bad back, and so having a firmer mattress was important to me. Plus, I wanted something that wouldn't shift around a lot since I share the bed with my wife. So after taking the online quiz, I was matched with the Helix Twilight, which is amazing. I sleep better at night without any discomfort, and I also sleep cooler at night because these mattresses are better at regulating body heat. Plus, I didn't have to do the hassle of going to a mattress store and laying down on dozens of beds and having to lug the big mattress home. Seriously, having a big mattress delivered right to my door made the entire process so easy. And if you're in the US, shipping is entirely free. If it makes you nervous to buy something you've never tried, well, Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial, so you get 3 months to make sure that you love it. And if you don't, they'll come pick it up and you'll get a free refund. So there's zero risk. Plus, Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so there's nothing keeping you from a great night's sleep. It's simple, easy, and the end results speak for themselves. So go to helixsleep.com/theelk right now in order to get $200 off your Helix mattress and get 2 free pillows. Thank you, Helix, for the bed and for sponsoring this video. And right now, let's get back to the show. There were so many things going for Better Call Saul when it first premiered. Coming off the popularity of Breaking Bad, it had an instant audience that Breaking Bad had to build organically over the years. For comparison, Breaking Bad's pilot episode had 1.4 million viewers, whereas Better Call Saul's pilot episode, Uno, had 6.8 million viewers. That's a higher rating than every Breaking Bad episode except for the series finale, and by far the most viewers Better Call Saul would ever have during its run. Many of the same crew behind the camera came back, most importantly Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, and then there were countless familiar faces in front of the camera that served as nods to Breaking Bad while also fleshing out the universe. For all the elements going for Better Call Saul when it first premiered, there seemed to be just as many going against it. I mean, how do you possibly live up to the hype of one of the best television shows of all time? How do you separate yourself standing on your own accolades while still playing in the same Albuquerque sandbox? Also, the problem with prequels is that they're inherently just not as dynamic. There's too many foregone conclusions that strip drama and stakes from situations. Anytime Jimmy, Mike, or Gus are threatened, the weight of the conflict is immediately removed since we know where they end up. Plus, prequels can sometimes make the mistake of over-explaining origins of items or relationships from the original source, mistaking the audience's desire to know more, and stripping away any lingering mystery from those elements. Now, just for the record, Better Call Saul did dip into these prequel pitfalls a few times, but I don't think they ever hindered the show. The last thing going against Better Call Saul, when the creators were first developing the show, was that they didn't even know what they wanted the show to be. When they were developing the show, there was a lot of talk that Better Call Saul might be a half-hour sitcom. Some of those creative decisions might have stemmed from the fact that they wanted to distance themselves from Breaking Bad, like I mentioned. But when Better Call Saul premiered on February 8th, 2015, it didn't take long to see that they thankfully didn't go that direction. The same tone and style from Breaking Bad was immediately there from the cold open, a quiet, methodical montage that requires the audience to sit forward and catch up, full of both wide-angled shots and extreme close-ups. But of course, there's the black and white photography that informs the viewer that part of this story will take place after Breaking Bad. We already know Saul Goodman, and here we're introduced to Gene Takovic, but throughout Season 1, we're also introduced to Jimmy McGill and Slippin' Jimmy. These are his 4 main personas. The jumps in time throughout Better Call Saul immediately make it stand apart from Breaking Bad, which, despite a couple flashbacks, mainly played out chronologically. Season 1 mainly serves as a prologue to the entire series. We establish the main relationships and the new characters of the show: Jimmy's brother, Chuck, Jimmy's main rival, Howard Hamlin, Jimmy's friend and love interest, Kim Wexler, and his connection to the drug cartel world, Nacho Varga. Season 1 also gives us more background on established Breaking Bad characters. With Jimmy, we're given details on his former life as Slippin' Jimmy, a low-level con man, and with Mike, we're shown the details and drama surrounding the murder of his son. Season 1 also highlights my main issue with the first couple seasons. They had these two disjointed storylines running parallel: Jimmy climbing the ranks as a lawyer, and Mike descending into the belly of the cartel world. And even though they would sometimes overlap, that was few and far between. It felt like I was watching two different shows at the same time. And whenever we would hop from one to the other, it felt like it was slowing momentum down. And that continued on into Season 2. We follow Jimmy's existential crisis of whether he should go straight or continue his Slippin' Jimmy con man ways, while Mike has his own storyline with more Breaking Bad alum in the cartel world. Let me again just clarify that this show was still excellent. Both storylines were captivating in their own ways. It just felt like two shows running parallel to each other as opposed to meshing more. It felt a little clunky at times with the halted momentum and bouncing back and forth to different worlds from different characters that seemingly had nothing to do with each other. But of course, any fear on my part was put to rest as the show continued on. It's in Season 3 when the storyline started converging more frequently, becoming one cohesive show. And just as the show was finding its own voice and making its own path, a major turning point happened in the season's 5th episode, Chicanery, the day Better Call Saul was born. The most fascinating aspect of Better Call Saul's first 3 seasons is the complex, codependent, and toxic dynamic between Jimmy and Chuck.
Hamlin's making you a chump. I'm going to get better. I'm going to go back to work, and I'm picking up where I left off.
It's well established up to this point that Jimmy's driving force in everything he does is his older brother, Chuck. It's who he aspires to be, the successful, respected, and feared lawyer. But Jimmy's just not able to shake his natural instinct to scam people, work the system, pull the strings, and take every shortcut he can. He's fighting his own instinct, but he's also fighting the way his own brother sees him. To him, Jimmy will always just be Slippin' Jimmy, who stole from their father's business and defecated through a sunroof. That's all he'll ever be. He'll never change. Jimmy keeps trying to prove himself with his work, like when he brings Chuck the sandpiper case. He also takes care of his brother, bringing him food and supplies, almost like he's trying to make penance for his past sins. But nothing's good enough. Chuck and Jimmy are similar in so many ways. Fantastic lawyers, desperate for approval, but their differences are glaring. Chuck has the brilliant mind, while Jimmy is more charismatic and better with people. The writers of the show have often said that a major difference between the two is that Jimmy often does the wrong thing for the right reason, while Chuck often does the right thing for the wrong reason. An example of that is when Jimmy uses his Slippin' Jimmy ways to tamper with the Mesa Verde files in order to help Kim, even if it means hurting Chuck's reputation. Like I said, everything seemed to be building towards chicanery. Jimmy and Chuck's relationship, Jimmy and Kim's relationship, Slippin' Jimmy's tactics, Chuck's illness, the Mesa Verde files, lawyer versus lawyer, McGill versus McGill. We've watched arguments build up between the two in the show so far, like when Chuck's true feelings and intentions were revealed in the Season 1 episode, Pimento.
You're not a real lawyer. University of American Samoa, for Christ's sake? An online course? What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh. I committed my life to this.
But here, the gloves are off as they're really trying to hurt each other. Chuck is trying to have Jimmy disbarred, while Jimmy is trying to reveal Chuck's true mental state, even if it means ruining his career and their relationship. The moves that Jimmy makes to throw his brother off, bringing in his ex-wife, and hiding a fully charged battery in his pocket are theater to break down Chuck's facade. And it leads to one of the best moments in the entire series.
If he were schizophrenic, it wouldn't take away from the fact that the
I
defendant...
am not crazy!
A single slow push-in as Chuck finally lets his true intentions known.
You think this is bad? This chicanery? He's done worse. He defecated through a sunroof. He'll never change. Ever since he was 9, always the same. Couldn't keep his hands out of the cash drawer. And he gets to be a lawyer? What a sick joke.
He's been harboring this disdain for Jimmy behind this veil of doing everything for the law because the law is sacred, when really he just doesn't think much of his brother. He'll always be the kid who stole from their parents and defecated through that sunroof.
I'm not the lawyer here, okay? But it was a simple Chicago sunroof sex offender. That's not even remotely a...
But he's also prideful and jealous of Jimmy in so many ways. The way he's good with people.
Jimmy.
No, Mom. It's me.
And the relationship Jimmy had with their mother, in spite of everything that he did. Being a lawyer is the one thing Chuck could hold over Jimmy to keep him inferior and reliant on him, but not anymore. This was his chance to take the law from him. But the unhinged and brutal rant only revealed the extent of Chuck's mental illness.
And you have to stop him.
Which eventually led to the law being taken from him instead. In a way, taking down his brother highlighted Jimmy's shifting loyalties from Chuck to Kim. His priorities had changed, but this moment was also a sad realization that Chuck was right. He'll never change. He'll always just be Slippin' Jimmy. After destroying his moral compass, the internal battle between Jimmy and Slippin' Jimmy birthed this new creation, what Chuck once called Slippin' Jimmy with a law degree, or a chimp with a machine gun. And really, that dangerous combination of the two is what we know as Saul Goodman. As the show continued, more and more of that persona took hold of him, sabotaging his brother's insurance, Chuck severing ties, Chuck killing himself. And the last straw was in the final season when Kim finally divorced Jimmy.
Together, we're poison.
He had no moral compass left.
Tell me what I need to do to change, okay? Just tell me what it is and I'll do it. Just tell me what to do. Whatever it is, I'll do it.
Jimmy was gone, and Saul Goodman was all that was left. The final episode of the series again highlights the courtroom drama aspect of Better Call Saul that helped set it apart from Breaking Bad, and it's during Saul Goodman's testimony, much like Chuck's in chicanery, that we finally get the raw truth.
I took away the one thing he lived for, the law. After that, he killed himself. And I'll live with that.
We learn that he was too scared to confront what happened to his brother, and that's why he hid inside the persona of Saul Goodman.
Kim had the guts to start over. She left town. But I'm the one who ran away.
That persona shielded him from feeling his guilt and sadness, like some kind of flashy purple suit of armor. We see that armor on full display a couple times in the show. Right after Chuck died and Howard blames himself, Saul takes the opportunity to twist the knife in Howard and smile while doing it.
Well, Howard, I guess that's your cross to bear. So I'm gonna make some coffee. Anybody want some?
Similarly, when he and Kim sign their divorce papers and he shrugs it off, pretending that it doesn't bother him, but we know that it does.
All right, well, have a nice life, Kim.
It reminds me of the scene where Chuck and Jimmy last talked to each other.
You're just gonna keep hurting people.
That's not true.
Jimmy, this is what you do. In the end, you're gonna hurt everyone around you. But the truth is, you've never mattered all that much to me.
It's so different than how we'd seen Chuck up to that point. Very robotic and calculating in his abuse, pretending like it means nothing to him, letting his own pride and arrogance speak for him. The beauty of Jimmy's testimony in the finale is that he doesn't lean on his normal schemes, technicalities, and theatrics. For the first time, he's stripped down and brutally honest, in spite of what it means to him. And in doing so, he not only regains the name McGill,
The name's McGill. I'm James McGill.
but he also proves his brother wrong. He was finally able to change. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please like it and share it with a friend, and also leave me a comment below. Tell me the day that you think Better Call Saul was born. Also, let me know what you thought of the finale. I thought it was fantastic and bittersweet because it's the end of a great universe of this Breaking Bad universe, but also glad to see it go out on a high. There's a lot of ways to help support Entertain the Elk. There's a Patreon where patrons get exclusive rewards. There's merchandise. There's even a thanks button below where if you want to give $1 or $2, consider it a cup of coffee as I'm writing my next essay. All those things mean a lot and just help me make more videos. I'll have all the links below. Go check it out. And again, thanks so much for watching.